King David Studio podcast.
Let's take the same scenario and do slight adjustments to it.
Okay.
How often is it that you find women in the story, but in the reverse, where it's the husband who's been the house husband, so to speak, and the wife, because times have changed so much. There's an interesting statistics about black women CEOs in Africa being far more successful than their predecessors in the same companies. It lists about 10 or 20 of them. So essentially saying times have changed so much. You have so many female CEOs and leaders of companies and. So the narrative of a husband who goes out to make money while the wife stays home, no, it's a thing of the past in a lot of ways. So how often in your world do you see this new scenario that I've just painted?
Oh, I've had, in the past year, about 3 or 4 cases where the husband is now claiming pensions, assets, and all of that because he was not working. So he's got now an extended amount of time where he was working, but now he's not working.
Yeah.
And as a result, he then had to stay home. Now, it's coming up more often than not. But I think in those instances, the women are fighting, and it was one of those contested ones.
Yeah.
The women were fighting because the husband was not really being a house husband.
He was just unemployed.
He was just unemployed. So there was still the helper at the home. There was still the gardener,
yes,
all of those things,
And
so
you find if they're privileged enough, there's a guy who comes every Sunday to wash the cars. There's all of those.
You see all of
resources.
those.
A driver for the kids.
While the husband is there, literally just
Unemployed.
unemployed, but not doing anything.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because we had this conversation with my driver the other day. They're like, what has changed? So I tell them, I'm like, my dad, for most of my life, he was retrenched when I was very young. So I'm the youngest in the family.
Okay.
But for all of my life, I never saw my dad not having money because he was such a present dad. Like, he would take me to school, he would fetch me from netball, I stayed first, debate,
So
and all of those
he was
things.
busy.
He was very busy, but it never registered in my mind that Papa o ka re hana tjhelete. I would even ask him for money and then he'd give me, So it's only now later, obviously, when you speak to your mom and then she explains, she's like, no, it was because, that was how it worked.
I helped him.
I helped
so
him.
he maintains his
And you see,
stature as a man.
but it even wasn't even the money. That's the thing I'm getting to. It was never about the money because he was there. He played his role as the dad in the family. So it was never the dad with money, the resources and whatever, but he was the dad in the family, very scared, like, hey, 60 can't be outside, timer, all of, so it's very weird now when I see this, and even with my clients, I always tell them, like, it's so surprising for me how it almost like men can't be men.
Using your dad's reference.
Yes, like, because they don't have money. It doesn't make sense, but
You're highlighting an important thing. Essentially, you're saying men have become their measure of their manhood in this case is only if they can provide. And you're saying it's not that. It's everything else. On top of that, if anything.
On top of that, if anything,
it's
yes.
everything else that a husband, a father, a man of the house.
Your role as a father, as a husband, what is it? Yeah. And if you play that role, in the family dynamics, there's not even that shift. Like, there's not that gap. Like, because things are taken care of,
Going back to our case, the husband, Aspan, as you said, he's doing nothing, as you've painted. We're going to paint another picture where he's doing something, but for now he's doing nothing.
Yes,
he's just hanging around. The wife, almost for, I don't know, 10,000 rand, so you can have something during the month. It's a lot of money though, but anyway, it's fine. I chose a lot of money. And what happens then during divorce? He has every right to do exactly what the reverse It happens.
Spousal maintenance. That's why it's not called
It's
female maintenance.
It's spousal
Woman,
maintenance.
it's spousal maintenance. So either of the spouse has that right to approach the court and say, I need to be maintained or supported by this person because of X and Y reasons.
Mhm.
We've been
Paint
married
the
for
picture.
long.
Yeah.
I haven't been employed. I've been taking care of the family.
Wait.
This one hasn't been taking care of the family.
Let's talk about the guy who couldn't do
Okay,
much.
so the guy that wasn't doing much, it really will be up to the court to decide. I don't want to lie. Ne?
Yeah.
Why I say this is because I had a very, very similar case like this where the guy did nothing. He squandered his money, so he decided that he's going to leave work and then take his pensions
and try open a business.
Oh boy.
That's
didn't
not
work.
squandering though. But
No. Let me tell you why he squandered. Because then he took the monies, didn't pursue the business, went to squander the money with people outside, came back broke. So now wife says that
it's an episode of I Blew It.
Yeah. That sort of I
Yeah.
blew it.
Sure.
Comes back into the home, and wife now needs to take care of everything. So she takes care of everything. They go into debt, the whole full circle. They go into debt, they recover. She starts working, and then she's like, I can't do this anymore. We need to get divorced. Husband says that, okay, but I still want half of everything. And he's claiming now even the maintenance on that part to say that I need to be maintained. He actually also wanted to take the children, thinking that his right to maintenance would only come if he has the children. So, and then he got lawyers. He got it wrong. But then he got lawyers that said, no, you can actually claim maintenance for yourself.
Alone.
And he did exactly that.
Yeah.
We never saw the light of day in court. It fizzled because there was a house and all of that.
Yeah.
But even in those circumstances, it really will be up to the court to decide what would be a fair dissolution of this marriage. I always say that, in some instances, you can go for what we call a forfeiture of patrimonial benefits.
Okay.
Where you are basically saying that this person did not contribute to this marriage, or should not enjoy the benefits of a marriage in community or property.
Even if the marriage was in community or property.
Okay. And then you list the reasons. Again, the duration of the marriage, the circumstances that led to that breakdown, the financial, all of those things.
What kind of circumstances would be Ujoti?
Yeah, well, we look at that because
Really?
it is a factor,
Yes.
but it's not a determining factor.
Okay.
But there is a case actually, this is 2022 judgment, where a husband a wife rather, was given the forfeiture claim because this husband was away for a long time.
Okay.
I think it was 17 years. And then he wants to come back and say that he wants half of everything, but he's been gone for that amount of time. So part of the reasons, even in that judgment, was that outside of the 17 years that he's been away, we also have a situation where even in the years that he was in the marriage,
our guy who doesn't work, does he have rights here?
Well, he's being maintained. He's being clothed and fed.
For the past 3 years.
Unemployed by the wife.
Circumstantially. Not because it was a family decision. Well, in this case, he quit his job on his own.
Yeah. But he was still being maintained. So that duty to maintain is on him. But now we look at his circumstances. How old is he?
Okay.
Does he have prospects of
Finding
earning capacity?
Yes.
And in those circumstances, then the courts usually order a spousal maintenance for a specified time. So they'd say that, okay, we understand that, yes, maybe you are 45 years old and you have been maintained by your wife for the past year or for the past 5 years, even though you weren't contributing anything to the marriage. But when you claim spousal maintenance, we are only going to limit it to what? To 6 months. So we'll grant you a spousal maintenance for your needs, but we'll only grant it for 6 months. And even then, the needs are going to be, okay, what do you now need as a man?
Because you can do this yourself.
Because you can do this yourself.
And this is not exclusive to men.
It's not exclusive to men.
Okay.
Spousal maintenance again. So if the woman is in a capacity or she's able to work and her earning capacity can improve. Because we look at the earning capacity now at the date of divorce or the institution of the divorce summons, and also your future earning capacity. All of those things, like I said now, how long have you been married and unemployed? How old are you? Are you able to get other employment? You know, all of those circumstances weighed against each other, then they can decide how much of how long that spousal maintenance must be for, and also your needs based on the affordability of the other spouse, how much you can actually get from your other spouse as spousal maintenance.
You divorce getting spousal maintenance, then you get married. Does it end?
It definitely ends.
Immediately.
So it's we say immediately, but once you learn, because I'm not going to tell you
that I got
that
married.
I got married.
You're so
And
mean.
yeah, no, I'm not
That's
going to tell you.
terrible.
So
I'll
thank you.
find out thanks to social media. I'll know you got married.
You will know, and then you must then go to court
and say
that the circumstances have changed. This person is no longer dependent on me. Therefore, that need or that duty to maintain her falls away as a result of another man now that needs to support her. So you vary. It's that variation of that order.
King David Studio Podcast.